Welcome to the Real Estate Investors Podcast. We interview awesome people from around the industry, helping to give you the resources you need to level up your business. Here's your host, Tyler Woodall.
Hey everybody, it's Tyler Woodall back with another episode of the Real Estate Investors Podcast. I've got a really awesome guest today. I think you guys are going to get a lot of value. So you want to introduce yourself and we'll get started?
Hello, everybody. My name is Marcus Ridgeway, real estate investor full-time now in South Carolina, North Carolina. Those are the areas I'm in. Been doing it since 2019. Just glad to be here. And again, hope I can just give you some value based on all the value that's been given to me to get me here.
Cool. That's awesome. I appreciate it, man. So where in South Carolina are you from?
So I'm actually from Kentucky. I moved to South Carolina in 2005. Followed corporate America out to Washington for a couple years and then moved back to South Carolina. That's really kind of how I got started in real estate. Is I got kicked out of corporate America and it's like, okay, what do I do now? And like many of us, I picked up a book and that book was Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Good one.
Led me to a conference and then, the rest is history. But to answer your question, I'm in Charleston, where I reside, the Somerville area.
Okay. That's awesome. I was in Litchfield this past weekend, but I love Charleston. So that's
okay.
Cool. So how long ago was that you got out of corporate America and into investing?
So the way I went about it was a little different, what I call non-traditional. I got into investing in February of 2019, but I didn't go full in. I wanted to learn more. I'm a big person on what I think Abraham Lincoln said: if you give him 6 hours to chop down a tree, he's going to spend the first 4 sharpening the axe, right? So I really wanted to work on sharpening my axe. So I went to work for one of the largest local real estate brokerages here, and they also had an investment side. So I worked as an inside sales agent, making phone calls, talking to potential sellers, potential buyers, and then started working with their investment leads too, and learning and growing from there. So I did that for about 9 to 11 months or so, and then was like, you know what? I got to bet on me. I can't keep putting all my energy into what other people are doing. I got to bet on myself. So at the end of 2019, rolling into 2020, is when I decided, to go full time and bet on me at that point.
That's awesome, man. I love that. So what route did you go? Are you mostly single family, multifamily, short-term, long-term?
So single family. We have been trying to wholesale for a while, but it just isn't my natural way of doing things. So we do a lot of creative finance. We've done some sub-2 work, lease options, BRRRR, different things of that nature. That's just more what we find, but we're trying to expand right now too.
Okay, cool.
But mostly single family.
All right. I know you mentioned you were trying to get into some wholesaling. It's a tough niche. A lot of guys, when you figure it out, you can scale it, but it's just figuring out, what is my thing? Am I going to be really good at SMS? Am I going to be really good at direct mail? How do you find that mix? How do you find the balance? So I get that. That's tough.
It is, but the great thing about it is what we've learned and what I hope other people really look at it as is it's a great training ground too, because most of what you need to know as an investor, that I found I need to know as an investor, following the wholesale route is a great way to learn those steps, right? Underwriting is huge when it comes to these deals. You got to be able to comp. You got to be able to, what we say is you make your money in the buy, right? You don't make your money, no matter how much money you put into a flip, it's only going to sell for what it's going to sell for, right? Yeah. When you refinance out, it's only going to refi for 75, maybe 80 if you've got a really great relationship, right? So those numbers on the back end don't matter as much as on the front end. And I feel like learning how to wholesale allows you to learn those techniques and strategies.
Yep, 100%. All right. So before we got on and started recording, you said Fridays are your days for sharpening the axe. Obviously, you read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Do you mostly read books to learn how to do this stuff? Are you watching YouTube videos, listening to podcasts? What's your main route?
So immersive is my way to do it, right? So if I read a book, I'm going to go and I'm going to try to find some videos related to it as well to break down, right? And then it's put into action. So I listen to podcasts. Right now I'm about to start the 75 Hard pretty soon. So I'll be reading that book. I've been, listening to Andy Frisella already, the podcast and things of that nature. So, and I'll go back to, some Goggins, some things like that where I know is going to put me in the right mindset. So I try to do a lot of that when it comes to learning, is making sure I focus and I immerse myself, and I'm actually using the knowledge that it is that I'm getting, and I'm putting it to action. So I think a lot of times with learning, the thing that we lose is that learning isn't just sedentary. You have to put action to the learning. So make sure that you're doing that. Just reading, to me, reading back-to-back books, or just getting lost on on YouTube University, those aren't going to benefit you as much as focusing in on one thing, putting it to action, writing it down, and then moving on.
100%. Man, I love that, because you are exactly right. You can read books for the next year nonstop and know everything theoretically there is to know about wholesaling. But if you don't go out there and talk to somebody, nothing's going to happen. It's all for naught.
Exactly.
So that's awesome. That's cool, man. So I know you're big on working on your business as well. Tell me about some of the stuff that you do to try and keep moving the needle forward so that you're not just working in the business.
So really going back to that learning aspect to some degree, right, is that understand that you are the business. So the number one thing you can do is work on you first, right? Once you've worked on you, then you take a lot of those same aspects and elements and you move them into your business. So for us, we try to break things down into chunks, but extended chunks. So I think one of the first things when you're getting into investing, or even if you've been in for a while, you can get lost in the minutia of working in the business. I got to do this. I got to call this person. I got to, reach out to this title company. What do we have going on here? What we try to do is we say, okay, what is it we're trying to accomplish over the next 3 months, right? What does that look like? How does that break down? And once we have that, then at that point, it's just check-ins. You'll notice over my right here, there's a board with some stickies. We track over the month. Okay, what tasks do we need to get done this month, right? So that way we're not stressed about it, but we're also looking, okay, is it in progress? Okay, how long has it been in progress? When we move it to, can we move it to completed now? Are we done, right? These types of things. So for us, it's really a matter of segment it out, but make them larger segments, not day-to-day tasks.
Yep. That's awesome. That's cool. So day to day, what is your schedule like? What are you really focusing on? Is it mostly acquisition of new properties? Do you have partners? How do you guys set that stuff up?
So for us, our primary method right now is cold calling. But the way that we're looking to scale the business at this point, we're looking at, okay, well, what are other businesses doing? So we're building up right now to be able to go to some trade shows and different events and get more in front of people. But, right now our VA does a lot of cold calling. My day focuses a lot on acquisitions. The way I go in is, okay, I go in, I look, do I have anything scheduled for today that I need to work around? Are there any tasks I've set myself for follow-up? And then I jump immediately into the newest, freshest leads. We do a lot of joint ventures as well. So the next thing I'll do is jump into fresh joint venture leads. I then go into my follow-ups because if I can tell you anything, have a pipeline. Don't get lost in a lead. Follow up on as many leads as you possibly can, because it's the lead you've been working on for 8 months that's going to come through for you faster than the newest lead that comes in. But then at the end, I work on any leads that maybe that we found driving for dollars, or have been a referral from an agent or anything like that, that I try to keep in-house, because most of those are going to be closer to home and I want to be able to work those as opposed to some who may be, in North Carolina or further upstate in South Carolina. Right. So I just kind of break my day down by the type of call I'm making. And then the second half of my day is really going in, repeating what I did, or answering other calls, text messages, emails. Again, a lot of it's follow-up.
Yep, that's awesome. Yeah, I think as much of that as you can automate with your CRM, the better too. Because a lot of times it's very similar processes. So just pretty regular check-ins with clients, just something to keep them moving the needle forward. And then you can have a VA that's instantly texting people back. I know you mentioned you've got a VA. Are they based in the Philippines? Are they Central America?
This one's actually based in the Philippines. we're going to, so what we're doing and the way we want to go about it is he's really a leads manager. He's already done the job, but we want to train him in our way first, step up. Yep. And then we'll be hiring some more VAs, let him be the leads manager at that point. We still haven't worked out how we want to handle acquisitions. We've done it before and hired some people, taught them, ran acquisitions, but people don't stay very long, we found. So we're just trying to find a better way to be able to hold on to some of that talent when it comes to that. And then I have a partner who is also my lady. So we say my lady in life and business. She handles the disposition side of things, whether we're keeping it and, working with our private money or, the refinances of things. So she handles all of that. I pretty much stick with the marketing and acquisitions.
That's awesome. Okay. So have you had, this is a selfish question. I've got a team of virtual assistants that work for me. I have had them do some cold calling with not great results. How have you been able to overcome that? Did you just keep interviewing until you found somebody with a decent accent, or what was your strategy there?
So it's not that. So I'm going to pat myself on the back a little bit. So before I got into real estate, one of the reasons I became an ISA, because it was easy for me. I had 15 plus years in call center experience. So when it comes to being on the phone, I don't know if it comes through here, but I've got a pretty nice voice and I've been able to use that to make money over the years. But I've also turned around and said, okay, well, what skills did I learn in all of that time? And for me, what I try to do is teach him specifically, but also some others that have worked for me, how to understand it's not about the house, number one, right? I feel like directly going in, most people, okay, how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms, what repair does it need? No, it's about what the person is going through. But what's more important is it's about their perception of what they're going through.
Yeah.
So if I can coach them up to understanding that's what we're looking to get to, and then coach them how to fight through maybe the perceptions they may have of American society, right? Because there's some training that has to be done there as well. And we've taken a lot of time. Now, we did do a lot of interviewing, but we've taken a lot of time in that training aspect and really developed a whole training program off of it for the rest of our VAs, where, listen, we need you to understand you've got to be able to be strong. You've got to be able to be assertive. That's what we're looking for, because we need to get to this point, and most people mask whatever that pain is or whatever that perception is. And that's, for us, is our training.
That's cool. That's awesome. So I know you said you had ISA experience before this. What were you doing? What were you making calls for?
Banking. I've done medical work and telecommunications for the most part. I worked for some pretty big telecommunications companies and things of that nature.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's super applicable experience. So that worked out well, and you never knew it. So really cool. I love that. For inside of my company, we've got SOPs for everything that we do. I think right now we've got 120 recorded training videos in Loom. So everything we do that we find that works, we try to record a video, put it in a training system, and repeat it. But it looks like you have really went thorough. So that's awesome.
Thank you. We've tried. It's taken a lot of time to be able to get there, but I'm glad that we're here and ready to make moves, because I feel like if you can withstand the next 6 to 18 months, there's going to be a lot of opportunity when it comes to real estate, and those who, like you said, have designed their CRM to work best for them, who have designed their SOPs and are actually running a real estate business as opposed to side hustle.
Right. 100%. So brings me to the point I've been asking most everybody lately. What are your thoughts for the next 12 to 18 months? Where do you see the most opportunity for yourself? What do you think people are missing?
So a couple different things based off of everything I've been watching, listening to, and I have really dived into the study of economics. So just my educated guess, but obviously real estate isn't going anywhere, because we were building approximately 1 million houses a year prior to the last recession. Since then, we've been building about 250. So we're about 750,000 behind. And the millennial generation is another boom generation. People just don't talk about it in the same way you do the baby boomers, right? It's in the name. So we just don't have enough housing. to take care of the people we have. And whether it's inflation, stagflation, or what have you, we're obviously going to be in a recession of some type, and we're going to see inflation still be there, which is great for real estate. So what's going to happen is a lot of these sellers are going to be panic selling because they're going to try to still take advantage of what's left of the hot real estate market. And then when prices do adjust to where they should be, that whatever adjustment that is, then buyers still aren't going to be there. And a lot of us will be able to come in and be able to make good buys, but you're also still going to see a lot of hedge funds and a company like we're working with now when it comes to our flips coming up, who are going to be buying flips from us. So I would tell, a lot of people, if you're trying to resolve housing, a lot of it's going to have to be in the existing inventory. We're not going to be able to build fast enough, especially when it comes to inflation and what we're going to see economically anyway. So when you're flipping, in my opinion, and you're using the current inventory, whether that be single family, multifamily, commercial, what have you, being able to take those spaces that already exist and be able to convert them. One of the things that I'm going to be looking to do is buy some of these smaller motels and convert them into studio apartments or one bedrooms for conversion, and moving on from there. But, after that, within the next 2 years or so, listen, take the next 2 years and learn how to become a developer of some kind, right? Learn how to be able to make these land deals, because we're going to need to still build houses no matter what. And the way people are moving around, that's why I love being in the Carolinas. The way people are moving, to the Sun Belt states, these are the places, but people also are still going to be doing remote work. So some of these smaller cities, towns outside of the larger metropolitan areas, get some houses, get some rentals there. They're going to be great cash flow for you, and they're going to be able to rise when it comes to some of this inflation that we're going to see possibly over the next decade or so. So for me, that's where I'm looking. I'm staying in single family, possibly looking at some small multifamily and looking at conversion to be able to scale at that point.
I think that's brilliant, man. And yeah, you're 100% right. A real estate agent brought that up to me a few months ago, just the how few houses have been built since '08, just talking about how many tens of thousands of contractors went out of business. And it has caused a massive pickle right now. There's a shortage for everything. I mean, I'm in Greenville, South Carolina. So up here, there's not enough single family. There's not enough apartments. There's not enough anything, especially to handle all the people that are coming into the Sun Belt and the Carolinas specifically. So,
oh yeah, definitely.
I think there's a lot of opportunity going forward. So last question for you. Is there anything that the people listening can do for you? Is there any way they can help add value to you? How do they reach out? All that stuff.
So for me, I'd love to be able to help value you. So if you're watching, you can check out, or you can come to me, Marcus_Ridgeway on Instagram, and shoot me a direct message. If there's anything I can maybe answer for you, help for you, I love being able to give back value. But if you've got deals in the Charleston area specifically, please go to Marcus_Ridgeway on Instagram and shoot me a DM and let me know. I'd love to be able to work with you. If you need some help, maybe underwriting, I could be the buyer. If not, again, we've been working with a lot of different people in the area. Also, if you're in Winston-Salem, one of my mentors just moved to Winston-Salem and is looking to buy up a lot of properties too. So if you're there, reach out to me. I promise you I've got your buyer, as long as the price is right and the deal is right, and I'll help you work through that too. So again, I'm really looking to be able to add value at this point to whomever I can, because I know the struggle I went through to be able to get to this point. So whatever I can do to give back.
That's awesome, man. Well, there's a pretty neat conference, Pace Morby and some of those guys are coming to. I believe it's next month in Greenville. I'll send you the details.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it'll be sweet. So I'll send you that information, and it'd be cool to get to meet up. But outside of that, man, I really appreciate your time today. If there's ever anything we can do, if you need anything from our community, just let me know. Everybody check him out. Marcus sounds like he's a wealth of knowledge and a guy that is in the trenches getting after it right now and has some great ideas. So he can definitely help you guys. So appreciate y'all listening today. Have a good one.